Hey everyone, just coming to you with this public service announcement. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it is the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain. First and foremost, it's free to do so. You don't got to come out of your pocket. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole bunch of others platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. That's why I got on it. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, peace. Peace. We are back once again. Masterminds with Brother Shem. I'm your host, Brother Shem. It's good to be back. We had quite a bit of a hiatus, a little break, so to speak. So I'm glad to be back on this show, on this podcast, to just get back in touch with the people. A lot of things have been transitioning. A lot of good stuff. Very, very good stuff. First and foremost, I like to, as always, thank everyone who's been supporting me from early on, my day ones, and those who have recently joined on and supported me, and those who continue to support me in what I'm doing. To give some context, ever since the last show that I put out on this podcast, which was an interview I did with Aseer, the Duke of Tears. It's been very interesting in terms of just basically what's been going on. A lot of feedback, like a lot of things just started to pop off just to get right into it. So episode is going to be pretty different from my previous episodes. So it's kind of like me just basically giving back to the people who have just stepped up and paid attention. People who have supported me, and just people who just they just got it. I just happened to get on their radar. I appreciate it. I appreciate it all. So, some time ago, back in around August, September. Well, August actually is when I actually, the end of August, when I actually interviewed Aseer, the Duke of Tears, and it was my second interview that I did with him. And this one, in my world, it went viral. And I say in my world, not because viral is relative to your platform, and I'll be the first one to admit that at this moment I have a relatively small platform compared to others. It's growing though, no question, it's growing. In fact, because of that particular interview, a couple of things happened. One is my YouTube channel, because I posted it on my YouTube channel, has grown to over 1,000 subscribers, which was big for me because it wasn't close to 1,000. It just exponentially grew like in a matter of a week. Right now I'm at 1.6 thousand, and it's steadily growing. The interview itself, that video itself, the original video, which was entitled Aseer, the Duke of Tears, Exposing the Conscious Community, has just under 40, at the time of this recording, has just under 40,000 views. And when I say just under, it's literally 39,984 views as of the time of this recording. It's had over, thumbs up, likes. It's received over 1,500 likes. See some thumbs downs too, 65, but that's cool. Everybody's not gonna like everything, and that's cool. So what I wanted to do, as a token of my appreciation for any and everybody who have watched the video. I even it's come to my attention, people have actually taken clips of the video and put it on their platforms, did little samples of it and whatnot. So, it's flattering and it's an honor. It's humbling to know that I'm able to provide content that has that much value. And again, honors to the brother Aseer, the Duke of Tears, who's, always, been a good brother in my dealings with him. Humble, laid back, not an arrogant brother at all. Had an opportunity to speak to him not too long ago. And he just, he's cool. He stayed working. So it's all good. Honest to him. I've had offers to be interviewed, offers for people wanting to be interviewed by me. A lot of things has been popping off. So that's on that end. And also the reason for in addition to the hiatus was that I had to pay a little more attention to the actual radio show I do. I do a radio show. It's a weekly radio show through iHeartRadio, WDRB Media, every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is called What Is Your Nationality, which actually deals more on the side of current events, politics, law, history, things of that nature, social issues. So, as you can tell by the title, I speak on nationality and its importance, and how it relates to political status and things of that nature. But my first love, of course, is speaking about spirituality. That's what I started off with doing, and that's what I love to do the most. So I'm back at it. So what I want to do for you is I want to take the time. I'm going to be reading the comments that I received, and actually these are not all the comments, because I actually have a couple of other videos that are kind of like repurposed videos, content of the original content on this particular video that received 39,000+ views. But I'm going to read the ones from that posting, the first initial video. So everything that was posted underneath that video. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shem L, Shem, first name, EL, last name. You can't miss it. It's the one with the symbol with the circle 7 emblem, the blue and red. So check it out, subscribe, like, share the content. You can also join the community. So now I'm able to, I've established a online community through YouTube, and you have the opportunity to join the community. For a monthly subscription, you can get certain benefits, including exclusive videos, first look at videos, get to participate in a lot of different things. So I'm excited about that as well. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, join the community, and be part of this, because I'm getting back on track, and we're gonna come with a lot of content, a lot of great content in the upcoming future. So with that, also, let me not forget, check out my website, shemel.com. That's SHEM-EL.com. You can check out my content, get a chance to get a free lesson on the MetaMind Mastery mentorship. Check out my books. You can order my books there. Some of my videos that are not on YouTube. I'm thinking about transcribing some of the information, some of that data onto the YouTube under the community, so you can join the community and get that video. Also, I have merchandise such as t-shirts and things of that nature that you can check out on my website, shemel.com, SHEM-EL.com. So I'm just going to get into it. As I look at this, YouTube says I have 248 comments on that video. That is a lot of comments. And I'm going to attempt on this episode to read almost every one of them. There's certain ones I won't read, not because they're negative. I'm going to read the negative ones too, trust me. And I'll respond to those to give some, to clear some misconceptions. But what I will do is there are certain ones that are just random replies and things of that nature. I won't get all into that. But the main ones, the initial comments, I will go and read those, and I may even read some of my responses as well. So I'm literally going to read from the top. So here we go. So Empress Ka wrote, "Man, I have to dig for Aseer's videos. I'm so glad for him. Stay true." I responded, "Greetings, Empress. I'm glad you came across the video. I have another one with him on my channel as well. Please be sure to subscribe. Peace." I said that. The next one I'm reading is from Pebbles Mitchell Bay. Says, "Aseer the Duke of Tears breaking it down again. I'm so sorry you and your Empress lost y'all baby. Also, I'm sorry y'all been hurt by our own people. When will our people love self? Because if you don't love self, you won't love your brother or sister. Blessing to you, Aseer the Duke of Tears, and your family." And to which Solomon Beaumont replied, "This is Black people problem for us to come together and be one. We are trying to be separate. United we are strong." So for those who don't know, and you can check the interview for this. In the interview, Aseer the Duke of Tears explained that in dealing with the conscious community, what is called the conscious community, and he gets into that on what he means when he says conscious community. He was blacklisted. He was, he was an outcast basically, and in the process of distress, his wife was with child, and they lost their baby. So that is what that's speaking about. So I'll continue on. Comment by Cool Ass Freddy. Oh, not Freddy, but Cool Ass Fred says, "Aseer is the truth, and his lady's products are worth every penny. If her products are specifically made for you melanated skin, as soon as you put it on you, know the difference." Okay, and was replied by Infinite Logistics Incorporated, asked the question, "Where do you purchase?" And to that I gave the website, which is www.cordobaorganics.com. So you can go there and purchase the sisters Empress Selena Cordoba L, purchase her health and beauty products, which are mostly based in argan oil. No shea butter is in those products, all organic. So H. David Turner wrote, "Aseer's knowledge and info has been lining up for years. He's never deviated, always on point and consistent. No B Workout said, this brother dropped so much knowledge, I gotta listen to it again. Peace and blessings. Al-Hisham Bey wrote, Aseer drops the heavyweight knowledge as always. Great video, Islam. Gregorio Salamanca Gregorio Salamanca L wrote, high honors to the science of Cordoba Organics and the right knowledge of Aseer. Gavin Charles L wrote, big up the Duke guys, a real one, no cap. Super Heru was dope too, amore. Richie Escobar wrote, feels good to hear someone that I feel has an understanding like me. Officially, Gino Mays wrote, funny thing about the word brave. My wife's job, Wawa, is now awarding their employees who come out the closet, and it says, congratulations for being true to yourself. They are doing too much. And to which was replied by, I am Oakland. Wow, this has to stop. So in the video, in the interview, there was a point where Aseer the Ducateers was talking about the word brave being used to describe people from the LGBT community coming out and admitting their sexuality. And so he was breaking that down, the whole science down. You can check the video and listen to that again or listen to it for the first time if you haven't checked it out. Johnny Be Good wrote, I would love to see people like Aseer teaching kids in school, but we know why that can't happen, LOL. To which Tonis Bey replied, it can happen, inshallah, and I intended to be for the upliftment of my peeps. Gaia Jean Gray Inc. wrote, we never see the abuse of our mental while we are trying to be cool with approval with peers. Until we are grown and see how the world works, it is not good what is happening with the little child coming up today. It is sad. Thank you for this video. You are a great mentor and teacher. Negus X wrote, and he wrote a few comments, but this was one of them. He wrote, I was such a hustler that when I learned what fractional reserve lending is, I went into a deep depression. Mutajar Training in Natural Sciences wrote, book list, The Magna Carta by James Doherty, First Principles of Islamic Economics, Powernomics, and Classic Ships of Islam by Dionysius Agius. So that was in relation, that comment that he wrote with the book list was in relationship to towards the end of the interview, where I asked Aseer specifically if a young person was to come up to them and wanted to know where to start in their research, in their journey on learning about themselves and all this information, where would they start? Like, what would you read, etc. And in that, Aseer the Ducateers gave a book list. He gave a brief book list where they could start. And so this person here was just adding on to that. Jay Izet wrote, a shame you don't question more of his answers, especially when he is vague. And there was a reply by Jarrell Wilson that said, Aseer the Duke definitely has knowledge, but he is a Moorish fanatic and needs to be questionable on the things he says. So let me take the time to respond to that. So first, in terms of me not questioning more of his answers, first, my point in me asking a question, when I ask a question, an interview is an interview. It's not an interrogation. So my intent is to allow the person who I'm interviewing to say whatever's on their mind in response to my question. That's what it is. So how much they decide to, information they decide to give, or how little information they decide to give, I don't take the position of critiquing their answer. I'm just asking the question and allowing them to answer the question how they choose so to the best of their ability. Once it's out there, it's out there. That's their answer. That is their statement. It's not my statement. So each of you as the audience have the opportunity to do your own critical thinking and accept what is said, don't accept what's said, investigate what's said, and that's on you. This is not, the interview is not meant to convert anybody. I don't deal in the conversion business. This is information. And to the other person's point about Aseer, the Duke definitely has knowledge. That's why I interviewed him, because he has knowledge. Now, in terms of the issue that that individual has about him being quote unquote of a Moorish fanatic, so that then speaks to your personal prejudice. You have an issue with the Moorish paradigm, and the Moorish information coming from the Moorish perspective. So that's on you. So if he even said it in his own in the own interview at the end, he said you're not supposed to take everything. You take the best part and leave the rest. So once you understand that concept, however you interpret that, and you have to have this information that relates to you, that works for your benefit, then there's no emotional hang up. But if you're going to have an emotional hang up, then that speaks to your own issues. That speaks to your own, your own predispositions, your own prejudices and things of that nature, because you don't like, because he talks about the Moors. Okay, all right, then cool. Then listen to somebody else with knowledge who don't talk about the Moors. But you see what I'm saying? But it doesn't make sense to me at that point. In that point. So moving right along. Sia, I hope I'm saying it right. Sia Meze, Syameze, wrote, "Excellent interview. Interviewing is an art that too many people aren't familiar with. Thanks for not cutting his wisdom and for your questions." Now that, and to which I responded, "Gratitude, sister. I truly appreciate those humbling words, and I thank you for your support." Now, that is very much in contrast to what the previous person wrote. That I should question more of his answers, and that was my total intent to the sister's point, was that I'm not trying to cut off his wisdom. I'm not trying to cut off his flow and his train of thought, because I've seen many interviews where that happens, and to me it's cringe worthy. It makes me cringe when I see people being interviewed, especially those who like the audience are coming to hear that person. They're not there for the interviewer. They're there for the interviewee. They want to hear that person speak and share their knowledge and wisdom. on things. And then this person, and then the interviewer always interjecting themselves. It's very egotistical and very it's just, it takes away, and that's something I don't aim to do. I aim to do the opposite, and that's why I think why this interview is so popular, because I allowed Aseer the Duketeers to just flow, love it, hate it, or leave it. Though, you're hearing mostly his words. And so that's where that is. Trench Keith cracked the code, wrote a wealth of research and wisdom, gratitude. Johnny Charles wrote, brother, I've had dreams that appeared to me then as nightmares of the takeover of our people. Thank you for shedding light to us all. It's time to re-educate and reform our way of thinking to create balance in the information that we are receiving. Any way I can help, I'm willing to volunteer for work. Okay. And then we have Moai Ancestor, who wrote, my condolences for your loss. Again, that's pertaining to the loss I mentioned earlier. Great video. I discovered that the Dogon tribe, Mali, West Africa, were worshiping Ganoderma, a plantatum fungi, secret language of the Dogon Igbo in tribes, mass from Sahel region, X or Circadian rhythms, healing potential and power. They were ran out of Egypt and the Mali Empire, right? Look at the Sagoi ceremony mask again. Satambi sister to the head mask. She is September or the original Virgo virgin. Look at her mask. It resembles the Virgo glyph. I can decipher the symbolism and would love to show Aseer. Even the Moai statue from Easter Island, the brow and nose resemble a mushroom. You can see this all through melanated diaspora. Facts. We were the first inhabitants, no cap. Even my personal phenotype, I look like a Dogon Peel woman living in Holland. All I see is Dogon in Amsterdam. Dutch stole and gentrified the Dogon identity. Holla. I would love to hear Aseer's take on my findings. Thank you. I appreciate you, Shem. And then to which I say, gratitude and honors to you, family. I appreciate your words of support as well. So I take it that this sister, it sounds like it's a sister, is in the Netherlands. So that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Getting responses and feedback from people internationally, which I love. So let me see if I'm gonna real quick rock with this one. Siobhan Bamber wrote, trying to teach them millennials will make you hurt yourself. I ain't even talked to my generation. Barely like speaking to OGs because they just as lost. And there's a whole dialogue that goes off of this whole thing, which I will choose not to go into that because they're talking amongst each other about the whole millennial thing. But I think we kind of touched on that before. Coco Davis Bay wrote, you threw a lift boat to me and others, and I thank you and Empress Selena for all you do. Referring to Aseer. Davon Birdie wrote, this information is always helpful. Respect. Okay. To which I said, respect, King. And he replied, Shemel, that was a great interview, bro. I appreciate the questions asked and always appreciate Aseer dropping gems. To which I wrote, thank you, brother. I appreciate your support. So this is just some. We're going to get into more in the next half, when we get to the next half for some more of these comments. Continuing on with the comments for the Aseer Dukatir's interview, there is a particular person, I guess it's Swan Meta, and some of these some of these profiles and avatars are interesting because they'll have the instead of the E, they'll have the 3 in there. So I just assume that's their way of spelling it out on the social media. But I'll say for this, Swan Meta said, I thought a brave was an indigenous warrior. I also looked up the etymology of brave, and it stemmed from the Latin word bravo, which means bold or courageous. So again, that was in response to what Aseer the Dukatir spoke about the word brave. Now, Brandon Bridges said that at the 26-minute and 5-second time mark, he breaks down the term Africa and the identities of original American peoples. As always, Aseer goes deep, but the conversation really opens up for me around there. Don't forget to treat your fellow man nice. And so that the term fellow man was when Aseer the Dukatir spoke about the origin of the word fellow man, and the term nice meaning dumb or stupid, etymology wise, and the fellow man phonetically fell low, the man who fell low. So that was his breakdown of it. One Worth More wrote, Islam Moors, Shukran Allah sincerely for this presentation. May the truth will out. Peace. And then Mutajar, Training in Natural Sciences, again wrote, folklore is the origin of every tribe and nation. Folklore is what binds the people together in purpose. To which Chai Garden replied, I agree, the story hints the griots are of huge importance. El Salahuddin Muhammad wrote, Paz e Amor, nobles, gratitude for this. And then Lamones Jr. wrote, shouts out to Aseer. The brother is truly a walking library. Swan Meta wrote again and said, I'm currently residing in Charlotte and I've been looking for a temple in the city. Would anyone be able to direct me? Because I only found one so far. I'm wondering if there are any others. And with the temple, he's referring to the Moorish Science Temple of America, which Aseer the Dukatir spoke about. Noble Atum Bey said, true to life legend, the Duke of Dukes. And Joqueliana Feliciano wrote, this was a blessing to hear. I have a library in my home and my godchild always talking about reading on your phone. There was a point to give context of what she's talking about, there was a point in the interview where I spoke about how the children who he was teaching at the school, or he was presenting to at the school, he was talking to them, most of them did not know what an atlas was. And I mentioned the fact that I had an atlas growing up in in my home, I had I had an encyclopedia, and to which Aseer said, "You had a library," we just talked about the fact that today, like, that's pretty much unheard of. So that's what that's about. Then we have a comment from I Am That I Am, and he has 6 laughing emoji, rollover laughing emojis, and says, "Y'all keep talking about exposing the conscious community." Then he has the facepalm emoji. So I guess he didn't like the title of exposing the conscious community. So, that read like someone who did not listen to the interview at all. And it was very interesting. So this is something that came to my mind, and I kind of expected it to be the reality, but this was confirmed to me. I was watching a video, and this person who's a YouTuber, he has a growing YouTube channel. He says most people who watch the videos do not watch, and more or less, he said, more than like 10 minutes. He's like, you're lucky if they go 10 minutes. He said very few people watch the majority or all of your content. If you have something over 5 minutes, definitely over 10 minutes, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to watch the whole thing. Some people, and then I come to find out, many of them also will just look at the title. They will comment on videos and not even watch it. It has nothing to do. They'll just, they won't even go far. And I've been guilty of that as well, but it's just always interesting when you have these type of comments. So that was that. So Natasha wrote, "This guy is awesome and humble. I'm glad he took another path instead of following those so-called conscious masses." And then Earth, Wind, Fire wrote, "Inshallah, thank you, brothers." Black Rastafari wrote, "Thanks for the knowledge, bless up." High Grade TV wrote, "He didn't come out of nowhere. He came from a place that was practicing the same foul practices he is repeating." So that comment is in reference to the part of the interview where Aseer, the Duke of Tears, said that a particular guy in the conscious community, he never mentioned the name in this video. Many people already know who he's talking about, and I may or may not say the name, but since it's not being mentioned in this comment, I won't mention. But this person is just making reference to the point about the person who Aseer is talking about, that Aseer said came out of nowhere. So he was saying that the guy didn't come out of nowhere. He came from a place that was practicing the same foul practices he's repeating. So that was that from High Grade TV. Yada L7 says, "Islam, he's a real one of the last left good. Brother Aseer, much love." JVF Sale wrote, "There is nothing like looking up to a strong, loving, melanated man." Kabaochi Streetwear wrote, "Greetings. Do y'all remember in the 70s when all of the blacks were wearing the little polyester turbans? All of our mothers were wearing them different colors. They were vibed up. And then major department stores who sold the turbans to our parents knew what was up." Okay. So I guess that was in response to seeing Aseer the Duke of Tears wearing the turban. K Street wrote, "This was good. One point though. Anyone who studied theater and knows the history of it can speak on the fact that males played all the roles. If you have been around theater majors in school, you may also know that they are very different from other majors. They are not caught in norms, they are artists. So that was in response to the part of the interview where Aseer the Duke of Tears was basically saying that now in Hollywood you have these guys wearing dresses, they're switching up genders basically, so this is in response to that. Now what I will say to this particular comment made by K Street is that there's different types of theaters. We have to keep that in mind. So what most people identify as a theater in America, and when I say America, I mean the United States. So I should say United States theater. Really stems its roots from Greek and Roman theater. And in Greek and Roman theater, in that history, yes, men played all of those roles. But that's reflective on the society, the type of society ancient Greece and ancient Rome was back then. And, I'll let you do your own research. When you look at the history of the words gymnasium, the Olympics, the word mentor, right? The word mentor, if you look up the word mentor and it's related to a character that had a relationship with a young boy, a man who had a relationship with a young boy, developed a intimate relationship with a young boy. Let's put it like that. Like, this is all Greco-Roman literature. This is Greco-Roman, arts. You feel what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't take place in African, what many people call African theater, and Asian theater, particularly when you like Southeastern Asian, like Indonesia, Thai, and all of that. It's very clear the genders that play their genders. Women play women, men play men. But in the Greco-Roman history of theater, yes, absolutely. That you do have that. So just keep that in mind. Rose Moore said there is another Asiatic equivalent to Superman. His name is Icon. You should check out Milestone Comics. Asiatic, of course, being a term that is used within circles such as the Moorish Sign Symbol of America to denote melanated people, which are classified today as Black people. Those terms, of course, the new terms of Black and African American, those are latter-day terms, and most of these terms actually only take you back to slavery. So the term Asiatic, if you're not familiar with that, that's basically another way of saying melanated. So the next person, Von Teflon got him, says, real recognize real. Glad I came across. I'm here now, brother. I lost my pops to gun violence, young turned lost my pops to gun violence young, turned me to a different person growing up wanting revenge. I turned to God at 14 and wanted a change ever since I grew locker out of 16. I love God. I understand why things happen. One more thing. What you said, people should speak when spoken to, sometimes walks with me. I don't speak to everyone, nor do I speak a lot because it drains my energy. Peace, love to all my strong peoples. So there's a point in the interview where, Aseer the Ducateer spoke in depth about the importance of, not wasting your energy to always just speak out random thoughts and things of that nature. Tina Smith wrote, Aseer the Ducateer is solely based on truth is truth, just the facts, set the record straight. Lucy Liu wrote, gratitude, beloved, amazing wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I'm grateful for both of y'all. To which I responded, honest to you, beloved. I appreciate your gracious words and support. And here, Negas X is putting in another comment where he wrote, I like what Aseer brings to consciousness of the people. However, hold on, I listen and I hear what I hear. Did Aseer just go from saying that millennials don't know how to think a thought and let it go at the 14-minute, 14-second time mark? Everybody's thinking all the thoughts and keeping all the thoughts in their head, right? 2, they don't know how to hold their thoughts at the 15-minute, 45-second time mark. Quote, every bit of minutia that they think needs to be vomited. I mean, of course he did. However, what is a listener to make of this? Is there some microscopic line between what is a thought versus what is an opinion? Now, someone replied, Pharaoh Akira replied, opinions are a form of thought driven by observation. You need one or more of your 5 senses to form an opinion. Thoughts outside of observation expose themselves as concepts and ideas. The goal with these is to manifest something or follow through with an action. Hope that helped. LOL, much respect. And Negus X wrote, Pharaoh Akira, I appreciate your breakdown. However, it was just some food of thought. We often fall for double speaking, not saying this was intentional. And this is a perfect example of how folk get things past us. Again, much respect to Aseer. I just hear what I hear. So what I would say to that is that I clearly grasp perfectly what Aseer was saying. So if you really think about it, when he says everybody's thinking all their thoughts and keeping all the thoughts in their head, right? And then he says later on, every bit of manure they think needs to be vomited out. We get tens of thousands of thoughts in a day, right? So, like he said, sometimes it's just an errant thought. It's a random thought that you get. What he's speaking about is the people who are keeping the thought and then expressing that thought in the form of social media posts and the likes. So you are, they're expressing these thoughts and they're identifying with the thoughts. Every thought doesn't need to be identified. Sometimes a thought happens and it is just that. It's a random thought. You don't need to put energy into it. Putting the energy into that then becomes the opinion formulated based on that thought. that's what he's saying. The person who's just vomiting out their opinions, they still held on to that thought because it took the thought to create the opinion. It's rooted in that thought that they just had across their head. So that's what he's really speaking about. So they really work hand in hand, keeping the thought and expressing the opinion based on that thought, or expressing your thought. So that was clear to me. I don't see the contradiction at all. So I think there's just a lack of clarity on what the brother is speaking on to that. That's what I took. I was very clear on what he was saying. I did grasp clearly what Aseer was saying with that. Jerome Bennett wrote, "Well-spoken Duke." Sassy Matazzi wrote, "How old does he think millennials are? I'm damn near 40. And to which I Am Oakland responded, "If you don't recall childhood basic upbringing, then you lost your way to decipher certain agendas they are pushing now," which I don't know how that relates to the first comment, but just to be clear, I would say when Aseer the Duke of Tears said millennials, he was really referring to, based on what I know, he was really referring to Generation Z, because millennials, their birth years are either from early 80s all the way to as far up to early 2000s. So, so someone born in the early 80s, correct, would be close to 40 years old at this time. But he was speaking to high school students. So they were more along the lines of your Generation Z, or I think they call it Generation Alpha now. But yeah, so that's what, but millennials is usually a generic term used for just young folks anyway. A lot of times that's what it's used for. So that's more than likely where he got it from. That's my best summation on that, conclusion on that. So I think you can pretty much get what he's saying when he talked about it, if he's talking to a bunch of high school children. Rayshawn Justice wrote, "On point, young Pharaoh. Definitely fits the character of an agent fresh out of jail for felony gun charges when he first started. Brother Polite as well. He had a felony criminal record and was fresh out of jail before he started his YouTube thing." Wow. So those are two names that Rayshawn Justice spoke on in response to what Aseer the Duke of Tears was saying about the conscious community and people in the conscious community, coming into the conscious community from prison or jail, or, just having a criminal background, just coming straight from that into the conscious community. So, and yeah, those names are what Rayshawn Justice said. In the video, the interview, Aseer never mentions names, but again, many people are already familiar with some of the people he's referring to. Elevated Minds wrote, "I agree with this man's message. However, what is the purpose of holding on to the term Moor? Genuinely asking. I haven't read any books of any melanated people referring themselves as Moors." I take it he means referring to themselves as Moors. "So I'm just wondering. I've also seen some people in the comments mention the Circle 7 Quran, which was made by Noble Drew Ali, who traced his roots to the Carolinas in America and joined a Freemasonry that was heavily influenced by white Christianity. then subsequently created the Circle 7 Quran, which interestingly he spells Quran when that's not how it's spelled. It's spelled Koran, but I digress. Which to me doesn't scream any legitimacy for discovering one's melanated identity. Any insight is appreciated. So I took the time out to respond to Elevated Minds comment. I said, peace. There's no documented evidence that shows that Noble Drew Ali joined a Freemasonic lodge. As for the term Moors, you can read the works of Yosef ben Jacana to see where melanated people were once referring to themselves as that. Furthermore, there's a YouTube video where he actually says that at the 29-minute, 20-second time mark. Check it out, and I give the actual YouTube link. And Jay Izzet wrote, you know, melanin is just theory. It has never been isolated or seen in a microscope. And then I replied, Jay Izzet, here's a video you may want to check out. And it's an actual video of the melanin sites viewed scientifically in their instruments, in the scientific instrument. So you actually see the melanocyte. But that was that. So I think my answer pretty much just speaks to that. There's a lot of misconceptions about the Moorish information. A lot of misinformation and misconceptions on that. So I won't go. I could go into a long diatribe, but I won't do that. But that's kind of straight to the point. There's no documented evidence showing Noble Drew Ali joined the Freemasonic Lodge. That's a rumor that's been going around for a long time. They've never been able to provide documented evidence. And as far as the Moors, there's plenty of scholars that speak about the Moors and the fact that there was a group of people who identified themselves as Moors. So continuing on, by Phoebe wrote, my moon is in Cancer and Aseer is absolutely right about being sensitive to social media and in general. So that was in response to the section in the interview where Aseer spoke about certain zodiac signs are very sensitive and they don't need to be on social media all the time. So Peach Slices wrote, I still have encyclopedias in my house. That was in response to what I said earlier about me having an encyclopedia growing up. Ms. Aguaji Sifra wrote, the deceitful are being revealed. Sheila James wrote, if you knew who you were, there would be no slaves. Bragadino wrote, yo, brother, I would love to do an interview. I rap. To which I responded to him, peace family, when you get a chance, check your DM on IG. So that was a response. That person right there, Bragadino, we've been in correspondence to get a interview. Shout out to Bragadino. So hopefully we'll get something going on in the near future. Bragadino, who actually works with the legendary Killer Priest. So Gold Race, formerly known as Black People, wrote, Gold Race is active, control your thoughts. James Crawley wrote, I think Aseer and Brother Panic are the only quote-unquote conscious I'm trying to hear on social media. Oh, and also the old head, Hemet, Valentine, Blair, etc. And Heru One responded to that. Also, Dr. Alim Bey and C. Freeman L. So let me see here. So I'm actually going to extend reading more of these because there's much more to go into. So we'll get into the next section and read more of these comments.
It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. Yo, we stumble and fall, we got issues we should take up. It's a strange time, y'all, sometimes you gotta break up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. Wake up, everybody.
Time's up, no more sleeping in bed. Hope you peep what I said. Hope it seeps in your head. Cause my people misled by the evil that's bred and we're not equally fed. So how my people's gonna eat when the homeless sleep in the street? There's shorties keeping their heat, cause killers creep in the Jeep. The grim reaper will keep a whole heap of the sheep. Their soul seeking was bleak. The world's deep in the sleep, which is the sister of death. From crack the crystals of meth, we fall to the whisperer's breath as if there's no mysteries left. The devil history's kept with all his issues in depth. He created missiles that swept out children who physically wept over bodies of the deceased, who probably died in the streets. There's no lobbyists here for peace. Illuminati is just a piece, all that partying is a piece. But Heidi's giving disease. That tsunami was just the least of the problems that will increase.
It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. Yo, we stumble and fall, we got issues we should take up. We gotta shake up. It's a strange time, y'all, sometimes you gotta break up just to make up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up.
Some rappers need to rap a new way, cause what they happen to say about how they clap and they spray didn't happen back in the day. And if you packing the K, then why you acting so gay? You ain't attacking no prey, you smoking sex of that hay. Now who you trying to kill? This kids is dying for real. Some murder, lying, they steal, but they stay high on a pill. Some got their eye on a mill, so they applying their will. Some are just trying to deal with the downside of a hill. Black women lying in graves, cause they dying of AIDS. Had kids they were trying to raise, some were hired as maids. Some got denied of a raise as they got higher in age. For those who try to engage in crime, codes provided a cage. We don't get enough of respect, so we suffer neglect. It isn't tough to detect, cause man it's rough in the jacks. When you get snuffed in the set, cops handcuff a suspect while he puffing a sack of that green stuff in the lack.
It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. Yo, we stumble and fall, we got issues we should take up. We gotta shake up. It's a strange time, y'all, sometimes you gotta break up just to make up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up.
Stop putting on them acts in the booth about how you got max that will shoot and you counting stacks of that loot. Like all that action is cute. Some live in shacks with no roof. Cops killing blacks in their youth. We need the facts and the truth. So now I'm asking for proof. Cause I'm no man of belief. And so I candidly speak to U.S. Commander-in-Chief. Just another standard of thief who's only branded as street since his country landed in beef. He just started World War III. How he plan to be brief, huh?
It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. Yo, we stumble and fall, we got issues we should take up. We gotta shake up. It's a strange time, y'all, sometimes you gotta break up just to make up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up. Yo, we stumble and fall, we got issues we should take up. We gotta shake up. It's a strange time, y'all, sometimes you gotta break up just to make up. It's a wake-up call to my people, better wake up. We gotta wake up.
Time to get out the bed, get the spell out your head.
Wake up, we gotta wake up.
We don't know who to trust, issues of truth we must
Shake up, we gotta shake up.
Where is the light in us? Families fighting just.
Wake up, just to make up.
Time to keep out the lies, get the sleep out.
Continuing on with the comments, we have a lot of comments here, man. Like I said, this is over 240 different comments. And, you know, I just want to actually just kind of just show my gratitude in reading all of these, and also responding to certain objections and issues that they had with some may had with the interview. So continuing on, Infinite Logistics Incorporated wrote another comment saying, "Peace, bro. I'm in Charlotte. How do I become a more? How do I become a more?" To which I responded, "Peace, brother. You are already a Moor by your bloodline. However, if you wish to officially proclaim your nationality, then I suggest that you visit a Moor Science Temple of America in North Carolina. The one that I attend is in Durham. The address is 902 Old Fayetteville Street, Durham, North Carolina, 27701. Meetings are every Friday at 7 p.m. Then he said, "Shemel, I misspoke. I want to proclaim, is there a temple in Charlotte? Thank you." And my response was, "You're welcome, brother. The last time I checked, there was one, but it had closed down. If I get any updates on a temple in Charlotte, I will definitely let you know." Amin Ra wrote, "Amin Ra is back. My brothers and sisters, it's a wrap for evil and charlatans." I believe he meant charlatans everywhere. Eddie Mitchell wrote, "Was hesitant to hear this, beloved, but was pleasantly surprised. Forever forward, the real OG." And definitely I appreciate that Eddie Mitchell took the step to actually listen to it. I will admit, people like just to the point earlier, some people will judge videos based on the title, and it's definitely, I knew it would catch attention for some reasons, good reasons, some reasons, bad reasons, but nonetheless, I wanted people to be able to hear the information once they got on and listened, and just let the brother teach. And that's what he was doing. He was teaching. So I'm glad Eddie Mitchell was able to check it out. Shout out to him. Rod D said, "Good discussion." Trisha Smith wrote, "The truth, synergy, how acquisition." Wrote, "It's a misnomer calling them the conscious community. Most of them that erroneously call themselves conscious are more counterfeit than a fake dead note." Yag Radio said, "I see Ashe everywhere. Jesus said, if thine eye be single, thy body will fill with light. The book says God is light and ye are gods. So how do we reach God level to really become one? To become one, to be considered a movement. You wouldn't have to if they were all real. It would naturally happen. If they were all real, it would naturally happen. Would love your thoughts on allegory and parables, part 1 and 2 on my channel. I made them very short and to the point, and I responded. You made some great points in your 2 videos. I actually expounded on some of the allegories in one of my earlier videos on Elohim. You can check it out. I gave the link, and he said, "Shemel, I appreciate it. I appreciate this. I will definitely put the link in rotation today." Let me see. Then Inanna Isis King Noble, Black Supremacy Noble wrote, "I'm grateful and thankful. All hail my Most High God, Master, King, Noble, Black Supremacy forever. All praise is due to my Most High God, Master, King, Noble, Black Supremacy forever." That was very random, but I read it because it was posted on the to the video. So, Mr. Strong Muscle wrote, "Why use the term black with your folks at all? Why trick yourself using the word? I thought everything has a name. We don't know who is who anymore, even us Moors. It's time to organize in the communities. We need to stop looking for a leader. We have to start leading ourselves." So I take it that that comment was in response to the part where Aseer, the Duke of Tears, was explaining why he uses the word black in his conversation, in light of the fact that he knows that we are not black, meaning those who are Moors, melanated people, are dealing with the nationality and things of that nature, because he does identify himself as a Moor, as an original person, melanated person, and so he uses the term Moor, such as I do. And so I think this was in response of why he's using the term black at all, because he did use that in the interview. You would hear him say black people, white people, and things of that nature. So Raphael Gant said, Islam Mo, you mentioned Charlotte, my old home. So is there a temple there now? If so, can you let me know where? Peace and love. And I responded, Islam brother, unfortunately, there's no active temple in Charlotte at this time. And when I said that, that's to my knowledge. To my knowledge, I do not know of an active temple in Charlotte at this time. If there is, let me know. Then I continued on and said, the temple that I attend is in Durham, North Carolina. The address is 902 Old Fayetteville Street, Durham, North Carolina, 27701, located in the new Community Development Center building at Phoenix Square Plaza. Meetings are every Friday at 7 p.m. Peace and love. And Raphael Gant replied, he said, Shem, thanks, brother. Peace and love. Bookman, K-Man, Boyman, Revolution, I can't even read the rest of it. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But Bookman. That's the name. It's a long name. Wrote, they have no moral laws, nature, especially at the laws of balance. And then DLW123 William wrote, Islam, I'm thankful and grateful for your post. Future Being wrote, recall, call, yea, Yah, your Lord and my Lord. It's pretty random. Okay. Flex Pain from the Low wrote, good thing I'm not conscience. I'm a God. Purity Primer wrote, brother has a doctor of jurisprudence, call it. Let me see here. And J. Henry UK wrote, Jay-Z got Meek out of jail with a thinking emoji. So that was in response to the statement where Aseer, the Duke of Tears, stated that Jay-Z and other celebrities, there's no history of them getting any of our people out of jail. And J. Henry UK is correct in the statement that Jay-Z did reportedly spend a lot of money to help get Meek Mill out of jail. And I will not say definitely this is what I'm about to say is not definitely the case of what Aseer, the Duke of Tears, meant, but it may be what he meant. He may have meant that, Jay-Z didn't get the common everyday people out of jail, because he later on said they don't get nobody out of jail but themselves. So that may have been what Aseer, the Duke of Tears, actually meant when he said that, not referring to getting a particular celebrity out that he was going to do business with at a later date, which is what they actually did. They ended up doing business together. But in either case, J. Henry UK, you are correct. Jay-Z did help to get Meek Mill out of jail. Rodney Orange Islam Aseer, top tier scholar. That's what was said. Negus X again typed a comment saying LMAO, participation trophies. YouTubers give participation hearts for comments. DFL. And let me see. And so I guess that was random. So there was a part, I know that is in relationship to the particular statement that was made by Aseer the Ducateers about how now in sports the what you call it, they they give participation trophies to people who are not winners, where everybody gets a medal, everybody gets a trophy, and there's no sense of competition. So it encourages people to not put in their best. So that was kind of like what he was speaking about. He gave the example about his son playing sports on a team. So Kevin Davis wrote, Islam, alhamdulillah for the brother and his insights into the occult. Only one question. Is that a cat in the brother's lap? Noble Drew Ali taught that cats are evil spirits and that you really don't want black cats around you, cat or dog. Anybody else see a cat? Islam. And that was in reference to the there's a certain point in time you will see a cat while Aseer the Ducateers is speaking jump on his lap, and then that's also to the part of a oral saying from Noble Drew Ali about cat, something to the effect about cats are evil spirits, and if you knew what a black cat was, you would not want one around. So that was a reported statement. And also there's another one about don't keep dogs in your house. So that goes for that. The Sacred Grove wrote, that's why I make videos long and a lot of room. Let me just backtrack real quick on the last statement. I will not, just to be clear on the oral statements, I'm just going to speak on the oral statements. There's a lot of oral statements out there, and I will not say that those oral statements are not true. However, the nature of the oral statements are just that, oral statements. And when you consider the fact that words, when you pass words orally from person to person, they can change by the time they get to even the fifth person, so on and so forth. That's why me, myself, just personally, I'm very, I'm restrained when I use a lot of those, I don't even use a lot of those sayings, but when I go and reference one of those sayings of Noble Drew Ali, or anybody for that matter, because they're oral sayings, they're not documented written things that we can verify that Noble Drew Ali wrote. There's no audio recordings and things of that nature. Again, not saying that those are not true. He didn't say those things, but we definitely have to use discretion. So with that, moving along, the Sacred Grove wrote, that's why I make my videos long and a lot of reading to weed out the fake. When they're ready to really learn the truth about themselves and birthrights, videos like these will be here. The only conscious movement to wake up to is to know that ye are Moors and not blacks. This is the only consciousness needed. Now, this video here in particular, this is over 1 hour and 34 minutes. It's a long video in the YouTube world. Interestingly enough, the first YouTube video we did was actually over 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And I personally like long videos like this right here. This podcast here will be a long podcast, so I can get through all of the actual, as many of the comments as I can. But I think it's important. I agree with that part, about weeding out the fake. If they truly want to learn the truth, they truly want to learn knowledge, then they'll come to videos like these that give the information in depth, not no sound bites and memes. So Ronald Lewis replied to the Sacred Grove and said, I thought Moor meant black. I thought Moors were kicked out of Spain. The indigenous people here mix with them, but originally are two different people. The Moors originate allegedly from Morocco, and the indigenous people here originate from the people as far back as the Olmecs. Okay. And then somebody named MM wrote, where did you read that Moors were black? Did they ever claim black? Andy Day responded to that MM as said, the word Moor means black. There is no uniting the tribes. If you are truly conscious, work on yourself and share only when asked. Escaping the many tricks of this system is an individual process rather than a collective work. All the debating is just a distraction. And then the Sacred Grove responded to Andy Day saying, Moor doesn't mean black, like Jew doesn't mean beige. Moors was called and still are called black by Christians, and they defined it as that in their dictionaries. It's their ignorance and your mental enslavement by doing that. Moor is an ancient term from the same family tree as the words mother, mayor, major, commander, Mr. and Mrs., master, emir, amir, marquis, etc., meaning the one who gives commands. It's not in the family tree that make terms for colors. And then Sacred Grove goes on to say they define the term to give you an idea of how to spot a Moor when you're amongst one. They say any dark-skinned person, so when you see one today, you call them black, but they're Moors, like the English definition says. That doesn't mean that etymologically that Moor means any dark-skinned person, as much as cat is not meaning, etymologically, it's not meaning a small furry animal that purrs. It's just showing you how to spot that thing using common descriptions. Don't even see why this got to be explained. It's simple grammar. I don't see why our people think a noun can be an adjective. A color is not a noun. Stop making yourselves adjectives. Stop that ish. Let that black ish go. So that was that in terms of that conversation. Let me see here. And Cat Eyes Lock. How can you rock costumes and expose us? Run that secret relationship between blacks and Jews since Jews book since you exposing ish. We're going to get into this costume thing because there's a couple of comments here about costumes. So we're going to go into there. What is the true origins of Islam, and what is the origins of the Pale Arab? That was by Mr. Balls Jangles. That's a funny name. Ricky Clark wrote, I'm sorry, that red hat reminds me of something. Moorish Moore and the guy with the turban look straight out of Game of Thrones. I mean, Tartaria. I mean, Syria. Laughing emoji. Sorry, his just a Portuguese. I think he means he's just, but he says his. Sorry, his just a Portuguese Moor who are the children of Canaanites from the house of Cain, spelled C-A-N-E, cursed peoples. And then Carmen Payne replied to that comment, said, this is the dude that on his other videos, he is always shirtless and smoking joints. He claims he left Earth among other wild things. I hear his voice, so I know it's him. That headpiece and the clothes are throwing me off, but my ears know. See how he keeps slipping up cursing? I'll have to find his name. First off, the name is in the description. The name is in the title. So that's weird that Carmen Payne would say have to find a name. That just doesn't make sense at all. 1. 2, shirtless and smoking joints. I don't know. I have no clue about what Carmen Payne is referring to. I don't know about the claims he left Earth, and you hear the voice, that headpiece and clothes are throwing me off. Again, that goes back to personal prejudices. If you're looking in for the information, critique the information. Same thing. And I think there may be a couple of other comments about this. The red hat, he's referring to me in the interview. I have a fez. I have a red fez on. Again, this like out of an hour and 30 plus minutes of information being put out there, that's your only comment. That's what stuck out the most. You couldn't get past that to listen to the information. Was the information valid or not valid? I respect more the comments that speak about the content, as opposed to these assumptions based on what you're looking at, as if you really know what you're talking about. And, you're relating it to a movie, something fictional. I mean, it's sad, but that just, to me, speaks to the level of consciousness or lack thereof with some. So continuing on, Ronald SME-EL wrote, dude really just said Robert Smith and Prince Charles L. Wow. And this channel, Shem L. Somebody knows something for him to say that. Heirs and landowners through the Cherokee, Smiths, and Roberts. Hence, Smith is the number one last name in the U.S. and U.K. Smith, Schmidt, Shemit, Shem. Prince Charles L equals Char, Shar equals Prince, Charles equals Char L. Prince L, Prince of God. Robert, code name Smith, Shem L. equals Prince Charles. They know who the heir is of this land. It's on the record already. So I guess that was his breakdown of when Ronald's breakdown of when Robert's I'll say Robert when Aseer the Duke of Tears was speaking about the names, the different names and nationality in terms of that nature. So Mr. Watt 777313 wrote, "Brother is teaching, learn life." Learn life wrote, "Y'all following Ottoman Turks." 3 facepalm emojis. Again, where's this coming from? And again, it speaks to such a lack of knowledge, because when they see a fez, they automatically associate it with Turks. Turks were not the first one to wear fezzes, nor nor is it exclusive to Turks. And you're going to see there's more comments in reference to the fez. I guess people have a hang up with fezzes. Funny to me, but nonetheless, moving right along. What is the by Art and Company, Art and Co. Wrote, "What is the root word he was describing for Greeks?" And I replied, Greca. That was the part when Aseer the Duke of Tears was speaking about Greca means stupid. The Greeks comes from Greca, which means stupid. Roger Bordeaux wrote, "The Red Sea is in California." Negus X wrote again, "They're happy to serve master." He wrote another comment, "Is the Moorish Science Temple of America a 501c3? To which I replied, "No, Noble Drew Ali never established the Moorish Science Temple of America as a 501c3. He informed people exactly how it was established in an article he published entitled Moorish Leaders, Historical Message to America." Negus X wrote, Shemel, he replied to me and said, "Shemel, if I asked, is it a 501c4, I wonder what the answer would be, because according to the American government, that is indeed what is categorized as 501c4, a social welfare organization beholden obliged to the American government. Thanks though, bro. I appreciate the effort." First off, all those classifications or tax classifications that you would actually have to apply for to be registered as a social welfare organization. A religious organization is not a social welfare organization. They're two different things. So the Moorish Science Temple of America, by that alone, cannot be a 501c3 if a social welfare organization, if it is actually a religious organization. You know what I'm saying? So that, so that's, I'm sorry, brother, but that's just not true. So we're going to continue on, get into some more final quotes. I'm not quotes, but some comments for you. We'll get into some more. Continuing on with the comments, we have one from Coolax DW, and Coolax DW stated, "You cats told people that the LGBT flag is the rainbow flipped upside down. I just checked it out, and those people are using the regular rainbow as the symbol of their flag. Check things out. You have too much good stuff going for you to be considered a bad source of information." And Boo Boo replied and said their flag is stripped of a color too. A rainbow has 7 colors. Theirs only have 6, but you're definitely right. It's not upside down at all. And Boo Boo is correct on that. However, to Kulak's DW statement, when you say you cats, I said nothing about the LGBT flag. I said nothing about it. In terms of, and again, this speaks back to what I've said earlier about Aseer the Ducateers. When I allow a guest to speak, I'm allowing them to speak the information so that you can check it out. So it's for you to check it out in terms of the interview. Now, when I do my presentations, then that's on me in terms of what I check out. And that's why he told you, verify it, check it out. I'm clear that Aseer the Ducateer stated that. But I think that people want to believe in people so much that if they have certain things that they have missed on, then all of a sudden they're bad. They want to go, oh, they're bad in this, and just cast a thing on them because they may not have everything right and exact. I think there's a lot of people, and this is what I've seen personally in the conscious community, and I'm not saying everybody's doing that, but they feel the need to be right, to be viewed as right, even if they're not right, but they want to be viewed as right. So other people against them is not being viewed, other people against them are being viewed as wrong. Or, they use the term pseudo, and we're going to get into that because somebody in the comments used that term. That's funny to me. But anyway, that's ego. That's ego. All of us are searching things. We're all on the path of researching. Even the master teacher, a true master teacher, was forever a master student, a student of life. So while I do, I definitely don't have a problem with fact checking in that context and critiquing information, but to just say like, oh man, y'all ain't checking things out, and y'all shouldn't be considered a bad source of information. This is an interview. This is an interview where the brother is speaking his measure of understanding on things, and even with him saying that, he didn't say he had all the answers. He said you should check things out. So I think I just want to reiterate that and drive that home. James Bankston said logical sense. Let's get social info stated. Here we go. Cheryl Brown wrote, how about waiting for your picks to be developed? Facts. They don't know much. And that was about what Aseer the Ducateers was speaking about, the difference between the young people today and us coming up. Like, he spoke about the rotary phones. They don't know what a rotary phone is. And sister here, Cheryl Brown, is talking about pics being developed. There was a time where you couldn't take a picture with a phone and automatically have a picture. You took a picture with a camera, and that camera had film in it that you had to take to a Photoshop to get developed. You know what I'm saying? To get the film developed, get the negatives and all of that. So we obviously don't live in that time anymore, for most of us. So that's that. Rebecca Jones stated, I'm in Chicago Heights, Illinois, and I'm trying to find a good solid temple to get right when it comes my correct, I guess she meant to say when it comes to correct my nationality status. So there was a response by Sacred Vitality, said you won't find it on YouTube. Sacred Vitality went on to say, I will tell you, you must look for a temple called the Moor Science Temple of America. The best thing you can do is contact Aseer. And if he engages with you, he will lead you in the right direction and not confuse you anymore or lead you astray. You must use your mind and think for yourself. Now there's no science temples here on YouTube. This is a cesspool. So if you can't even find what you seek when it is in your city you live, then you have a lot to learn to do. And Rebecca Jones stated, thank you. I just got my flag in the Circle 7 Holy Quran recently in the mail. He's the only one that I want to talk to about this because I had emailed a temple in Chicago, Illinois at the main headquarters and still no response. So I'm going to Aseer for guidance and assistance. And there's a long dialogue on that one, so I won't go into there. D. Simmons wrote, the sellout Moors. There you go, another person who have an issue with Moors. Brother Kufu Shishunk, that's my brother right there, said, brother makes great points. Jojo Bond said, thank you. Infinite Logistics Incorporated wrote, what do you think about Rise of the Moors? I responded to him as follows. I said, I think the situation with that group is a clear example of why we need sheiks from the MSTA to proactively share Prophet Noble Drew Ali's civic teachings on YouTube and other forms of social media, to which Infinite Logistics Incorporated responded, Shemel, I agree. I could be wrong, but the way they moved, posting on social media, making themselves a target, made it seem like they wanted attention. I thought business was supposed to be private. I thought we were supposed to be smarter than that and learn from our predecessors. Rebel 00 wrote, wrote 5 disturbing facts about Dr. Tedros Adhanom, Director General. He is not actually a medical doctor. Dr. Tedros is the first African Director General to be appointed to the World Health Organization and the first in its 72-year history to not be a medical doctor. He is a far-left politician who is part of a brutal regime. During his bid for the $260,000 a year job as the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros was serving as Ethiopia's health minister and had served as foreign minister. He has exhibited very poor judgment. This has been made very clear in the way the World Health Organization has bungled the COVID-19 response and continues to cover for China and push Chinese propaganda. The China connection, while Dr. Tedros was foreign minister, he managed to assist in and it stops there. And then the next statement, he says, peace and power to the A1 Shem L, all in the comment section and those that are coming. So that particular comment was in response to what Aseer the Ducateer spoke about in the interview when he said, just look at the head of the WHO, the World Health Organization, basically saying that he's melanated. He's not a European, but is a melanated person from Africa, and was basically saying that this particular individual, this is what Aseer was asserting, that he was actually pushing the agenda of the Europeans and the elite. Well, let me just say this, the elite, and I won't just put it on Europeans, but on the elite, who are looking to do world population control. That's what Aseer the Ducateers was asserting about, he was speaking on. And so this comment is in response to that. Yadi Jones wrote, the war is between Lemurians, Asians/Moors versus Atlanteans, indigenous Americans/black people, equals sons of light versus sons of darkness. This is a war that began since civilization began. Benjamin Breeze responded and said, explain furthermore. To which Yadi Jones said, Benjamin Breeze, Lemurians, in parentheses, Moors/Phoenicians/Romans/Byzantine Ottomans versus Atlanteans, in parentheses, Mayans/Olmecs/Toltecs/Romanos/Thanos/Caribs/Nuatha are bitter enemies because the Mayans civilized the planet. To which Benjamin Breeze says, oh, okay. And St. Jerome responded and said, original Moors, Romans, and Phoenicians were also melanated. So are you saying it's been a war between so-called black and black? To which Yadi Jones replied, St. Jerome, why people always say, quote, they melanated so they family and they the same. How can we war with each other? Unquote. Cain killed Abel, and they were brothers. Jacob stole Esau's birthright, and they are brothers. So your logic doesn't make sense because we all black. Shaking my head. Azik. So, Okay, so Azik 9 wrote, Inshallah. Gaia Jean Grey Inc. Wrote, exactly. Islam. Imasambi wrote, what the F was in his mouth at the 4-minute 58-second mark. You'll have to watch that to see what this person is talking about. Negus X wrote again, another comment, all of them. Flex Pain from the Low wrote, good luck with that. I guess that was in reference to the title of, and it was a smirk emoji, in reference to the title about exposing the conscious community. We Are Real World wrote, how do you spell the name of the people before the Mayans? And I replied with that answer. Josh Culver, who appears to be that appears to be an actual troll. If you look at this profile, says, is that a Shriner hat? And a little smirky smile emoji. And then there's two responses, one from King Tut saying it's called a fez, and the other response from IMA Tory Oculus Bay said, no, it's a fez, the Moorish American nation headdress. So again, interesting responses about the fez that I wore. I see that triggers some people. Darkman X313 wrote the dog breed bloodline of pedigree. That was in response to the very beginning of the actual particular interview when he started breaking down nationality and the name, how you recognize a dog as a dog, but then you can get into the type of dog that they are and describing them, et cetera, et cetera. Hagnuj wrote Vernon Jordan. That was in reference to the statement that was made by Aseer the Duke of Tears, where he said Vernon Jones, and he was describing Vernon Jones and was saying about Vernon being with the former President Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton, and all of that. So Hagnuj is correct. Actually, Vernon, it is Vernon Jordan. That is the actual name. And I'm quite sure that Aseer the Duke of Tears meant to say Vernon Jordan, but ended up saying Vernon Jones pertaining to that person. Because as he was describing the person, everything that he was describing was associated with Vernon Jordan, who was the person who passed away recently. BB King Me wrote, I don't get the costumes. It's 2021. Why y'all dressing like this? Okay. So this is very interesting. Vicky H responded and said, who influences what you wear? BB King responded, Vicky H, my generation and upbringings mixed with modern clothes are what I like. I just don't understand what's the point of dressing like old pictures of African or ancient black people is. That time is gone. And if we the new, why not be the new? Nothing bad intended. So and then there's a long dialogue for me. So I won't even get all into that because they're going back and forth about the that information, the concept of that. But to that point, to address that, when you're dealing with what you call costumes, first off, the very fact that you call it costumes, because I want to go here because the individual wrote something in that back and forth. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna read this. Gotcha. I'm gonna read this. He wrote this because I gotta read this because I didn't even catch this one. So one of the people said it's culture. It's called culture peace, and BB King responded, the culture of what? That time don't exist no more. As far as we know, 97% of us were already in America and didn't come from Africa. It's all kind of ish wrong. What costume do you wear when you know thyself? Thyself is not seeing old pictures and imitating people who already did it and excelled at the peak. These dudes are better off making a new style of costume. Aseer makes his own style. This other dude looks like a costume party, referring to me. So, one, when I always find it interesting when you have people who take the time to go into this long, drawn out thing of making comments about other people. and they're virtually invisible. Like when you go on this guy's, I'm assuming it's a guy, because BB King Me is not a real name. But let's go here, because this also person said I came under Panic and Bobby. Let's go back. He said I don't dress like everybody else. I came under Panic and Bobby. No disrespect, and I respect both of those teachers. Panic is seen wearing a onesie. Bobby Hemmett is seen wearing a onesie. Bobby Hemmett has worn some stuff that you would say straight up is a costume party. And he said this other dude looks like a costume party. Have you seen pictures of Bobby Hemmett? You ain't seen enough pictures of Bobby Hemmett and all the pictures of stuff that he's worn for you to say that I look like a costume party, but Bobby don't? Bobby Hemmett? Because that's what we respect. We don't condone the costumes and hoteppers. First off, now it sounds like a religious fanatic. And I subscribe to Brother Panic. If you subscribe to Brother Panic, you know he respects Moors. In fact, he's done quite a few videos with Dr. Alim El Bey, who I know personally. So he didn't have no issue with Dr. Alim El Bey. He spoke highly of Noble Drew Ali. He even said he seen him in a vision. They both speak highly of Noble Drew Ali. They speak highly of C. Freeman L. And if you've seen what he was, so this guy, this young dude, he doesn't really know. I take it that he's young because he's saying he's young, or he or she, whatever. But that's really crazy to me. We don't condone. Now y'all a crew. If you listen to anything Panic says, you know it said there is no we. We now is a we thing. It's a you. You know what I'm saying? Now y'all a clique. So it's very sad. That's very sad, man. That's what I wanted to speak about. First, he said nothing bad was intended. And then he said, I never insulted nobody, but he said, this other dude looks like a costume party. I mean, no disrespect, that's just, it's interesting. But then but to the point, as far as costumes, and that really just when I really recognized was actually said. In the etymology of that, you know what I'm saying? From etymology, you get in the same as custom, right? The same etymology in terms of style of dress you get from custom. From costume, you get custom, right? So that comes from the Latin, consuetudo, which means a custom, a habit. So you get to choose the custom that you want to choose. If that's not your custom, then that's not your custom. Me, I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, so it's customary for me to wear a fez. If that's not your custom, it's not your custom. Your custom is a custom dictates your costume. You know what I'm saying? So rappers have on a costume. You know what I'm saying? But y'all don't call it a costume because y'all customarily wear your pants hanging down and skinny jeans and stuff. That's a costume. So it's like, but that's European psychology right there. That individual doesn't even realize that he's operating off of a program. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. Hopefully in time that individual will come to that level of realization and enlightenment. And I found it real funny when he dropped, I'm going to say he dropped Panic and Bobby Hemmitt's name, and then right after said, we don't condone costumes and hoteppers. Clearly, there is no we if you're talking about Brother Panic. Brother Panic don't speak in that context. You know, he don't deal with clickism. And Bobby Hemmett would never disrespect. In fact, Bobby Hemmett helped introduce Aseer the Duke of Tears to the people. You know, Bobby always respected the Moors. So I think this is sad. You know, it's really sad. So going on, Marie Bowser said, no money from YouTube, so take it down. That's a hater. Hebrew Israelites, that's the name of the profile. I'm not going at all Hebrew Israelites. The profile that said Hebrew Israelites said Sakari. All right. Takun Status said Shem L, my name too. And Reno said, y'all definitely brainwashed, LOL. Watermelon, there's a profile, YouTube profile, Watermelon, responded, said, I know, right? People need to get over the black, white, brown, Africa, Europe, America thing and just live and be happy. Be the Power wrote, this dude is a super pseudo who has contributed to much of gross misinformation and getting Moors caught up in a trick bag. But this is YouTube. We do it for the views. This is Lord Abba, by the way. I know who Lord Abba is. And if Lord Abba is listening to this, all I gotta say, brother, is just do you. Like, I don't even understand it at this point. I really don't understand it. And if what you're saying is facts, then prove it. You know, you come from that school, show and prove. If he got Moors caught up in a trick bag, prove it. Because I don't know of that. I don't know of any situation such as that. And I'm not here to speak and defend any man, but, you know, just to throw words out, you know, you're not bringing no documented evidence, then I don't know what that post was for. Roger Baudreau wrote, don't believe nothing he say, he is boule. So Roger obviously believes that Aseer the Duke of Tears is boule. Pan-Africanism Strikes Back wrote, man, this dude is just rambling about nothing, trying to sound intelligent. So here we have it. There's people from all walks, and I've read the last actual comment. So I appreciate it all the love, all the hate, all the comments. Thank you so much, and keep it coming. We're going to definitely continue with our information and, you know, to inform and uplift the people. And until next time, peace and love.